Welcome to Talk the Talk, and welcome to NPR, Northampton Poetry Radio. We'll get back to that introduction in just a minute. First, I'm Bill Newman.
And I'm Buzz Eisenberg.
And indeed, welcome to Talk the Talk. Today is the 100th anniversary. Today itself, the 100th anniversary of Jewish Book Month. And with us, and with that introduction, we have the erstwhile Poet Laureate, Rich Michelson, two-term Poet Laureate of Northampton, who was commissioned, induced,
Jewish Book Council, Jewish Book Council,
cajoled to write a book, a picture book, intended for ages 6 to adult, the title of which is Fanny's Big Idea, How Jewish Book Week Was Born. And Rich Michelson, we're pleased you could come in and share your time with us today. Fanny's Big Idea, this date, 100 years ago, the founding of Jewish Book Week, now Jewish Book Month. Tell us why you got involved and what this book tells the story of, and who is it about?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me back. I've had a busy year. That's why Jewish Book Week became Jewish Book Month. I'm busy, right? I'm churning these out. I need more time.
And we should point out that Rich Michelson has won many awards for his books. Also, obviously, the founder of our Michelson Gallery here in Northampton. He has been the National Jewish Book Award winner for a number of his books, The Language of Angels, and it was won a number of other very prestigious awards as well. So, back to Fanny's Big Idea.
So 100 years ago today, at the first Jewish librarian at the Boston Public Library, so we have a Massachusetts connection here, Fanny Goldstein was the first librarian and Jewish librarian to be put in charge of a branch library, and that's the West End of the Boston Public Library. And her story is especially relevant today. Number one, she was an immigrant, and she was proud of that. When she came to this country from Russia to her family to escape anti-Jewish pogroms, etc., she settled in Boston in a neighborhood that was filled with immigrants. And she was absolutely amazed to find out that in America you could read books for free by going to your library. So at 6 years old, this was when she came over. This astounded her. But she went to settlement houses, as many of the immigrants did, which is how they learned how to be American. These were classes that were given around the country in immigrant neighborhoods where the immigrants were told about American holidays and how to be American. And Fanny was taught by students at Harvard and at Simmons College who were working at the settlement house. And after the day's lesson, she would try to then educate them. She loved learning about American customs, and then she would try to educate them as to Jewish customs, where she came from, how she was growing up. And she was not too pleased to find out that she was thrilled to learn about American customs, but nobody was interested in learning her customs. She wanted to grow up and go to college, and especially she wanted to go to Simmons because that's where she was being taught by. But her father died. She had to go to work very early. She was a quintessential feminist and suffragette at the time. She was told that once her father was gone, she needed to join a club to learn how to cook and clean and do laundry. And she was advised that going to the library would have to stop because no man would want to marry a woman with so many facts in their head. So she never married. And she got a job at the Boston Public Library. One of the things she started doing was moving the books from the girls section into partly of the boys section, and some of the books in the boys section to the girls section. She thought it was not fair that boys got to read about explorers and inventors. So very early on, she really took on the establishment as new immigrants started moving into the area. Blacks started coming in from down south. Chinese people started coming in. Syrians started coming in. She made certain that the library stocked books by the nationalities or the race of the people who were moving into the area, and that everyone was welcome there.
I'd like to go back to something you just mentioned, Rich Michelson, which is that Fanny Goldstein, the protagonist of your book, Fanny's Big Idea, How Jewish Book Week Was Born, just published. Publication date was
2 days ago, 3 days ago, I think. I don't know.
No national holiday was declared for the publication of the book. Okay, got it. But I would like to go back to what you just said, which is Fanny Goldstein was the first Jewish librarian to be head of a branch of the Boston Public Library. Was this a publicized fact, or was this something that was, kept under wraps?
Well, at the time, no, it was not something that was done because they were proud of it. She had joined in Boston. There was something called the Saturday Evening Girls Club, and that was started by another librarian, Edith Correa, who's wanted to prove that immigrant girls were as smart as anyone else. And she started this club for the girls to, and instead of the lessons of doing the laundry, etc., she started bringing in speakers to teach them, about suffragettes, to teach them about how to handle money, and Fanny was part of that, and Edith helped get her this job at the library, where she quickly rose because in fact, the Boston Globe did a very early article on her.
Really?
Yes, saying
on
that...
Fanny or on Edith?
On Fanny, saying that she has made the library a hub for immigrants where everybody's welcome, and this was an amazing thing at the time.
It's funny, Rich Michelson, because I had heard of Edith, who did this amazing thing by hiring people and celebrating immigrants, but it was really in the context of Italian Americans. It was Italian young girls that she was also trying to elevate.
Very much so. And they actually started she started a pottery business, which you might have heard of if you know her, where so that these girls could earn their own money. And it was pretty amazing.
Edith should be lionized as a pioneer.
She very much, yes, and she was very important. Fanny, throughout her life, did lionize her, and in fact, one of the things that that I especially appreciate early on, once Fanny became fairly well known in the library business, whenever she was asked to give a speech, she agreed. But she insisted she get paid the same amount that the organization was paying men for speech, which nobody ever considered before. If she was asked to be on a panel, and she refused, it's almost like today, she refused unless there was another woman on the panel. And she had names of other well-known women in different fields, and in the library field. She brought along the whole wave of people with her, and she is, in my mind, the first proponent of what has come to be known as the mirrors and windows theme of children's books, which means that every child deserves the right to see themselves in picture books. And they also deserve a window to see how other cultures exist. Her famous saying was, the more you know about someone, the harder it is not to like them. And that was
Including
how
yourself.
she wanted.
Building self-esteem by seeing people who look and sound like you.
She was part of the generation, as was I, frankly, later, where we were not raised to. I was not raised in my own culture. I did not go to Hebrew school. I never stepped into temple. I was raised to be American, to play baseball, to know the teams.
Because assimilation was safety.
Assimilation, right. You didn't want to stand out. And Fanny fought that. When she saw that the books that were being taken out of her library by the various immigrant kids were wonderful books, but they were the American classics, Peter Pan, Cinderella. So that is when she got the idea.
Which was?
To put out a table in her library celebrating Jewish books and inviting people of all races and religions. In fact, she put out, it was during Hanukkah in 1925, she put out a table, books by Jewish people and about Jewish people, invited the community. Again, the local newspapers did it. She asked librarians around the country to do the same. But she also had a Christmas tree there and treats and everything. She wanted everybody to come and celebrate. She was also, I should tell you, she started Negro Book Week. She started Catholic Book Week. She started Boston Red Sox Book Week. She really did. I'm not kidding you.
Okay, well, listen, I know you are an award-winning children's book author, Rich Michelson. You are an award-winning, multiple awards-winning poet as well. But I don't know that you've ever written fiction. Are you making this up, the Boston Red Sox Book Week?
It's in there.
It's real?
It's real.
Okay.
It's real.
Well, Rich Michelson-
Unfortunately, it didn't last 100 years.
No, it took 100 years for it to really have the celebration they wanted.
Well, Rich Michelson, did you write Fanny's Big Idea with the same motivation that you just described Fanny as having, which is to let other people know about Jewish Book Week and about this very important person, Fanny Goldstein, that most of us don't know about?
Very much so. That was the aim. I was actually asked by the Jewish Book Council. They were getting ready to celebrate their 100th anniversary, and they asked me a couple of years ago if I would have interest in writing about it. I did some research and found there was almost nothing on Fanny that I could find online. And what I did find was contradictory. Her birth dates were different. Her, the day she died was different. So this was a deep dive into research. I was able to track down her last survivor. She never married, never had children, but I was able to find her 93-year-old niece, the last surviving of her one of her brother's children. Yeah. And it took me about 3 months to convince her to share the information with me that she had.
Well, the book is actually a really gripping story. It's absolutely engaging. The illustrations are brilliant. Who's the illustrator?
So this is Alyssa Russell, and I have to say, this is her very first book.
Really, sort of surprised me. I think these are just gorgeous, gorgeous
it's
paintings.
It's published by Rocky Pond, which is a imprint of Penguin Random House.
Very prestigious publisher.
And they found Alyssa because we had to work so quickly. By the time I was asked to do this, I was on your show, I think a week or so ago, about Louis Brandeis, and that book was sold 5 years ago. This was sold a year ago. And so
really
they
quick.
found Alyssa. She did an amazing job, and she's going to go on to a great career.
We are speaking with award-winning poet, award-winning children's book author, founder of R. Michelson Gallery, Rich Michelson. When we come back, we're going to have Rich describe a few of the beginning pages of the book and have him read to you from those pages. We'll be right back.
This is Talk the Talk on WHMP. You're listening to Talk the Talk on WHMP.
And we continue our conversation with Rich Michelson, whose new book just published this week, Fanny's Big Idea, How Jewish Book Week Was Born, now Jewish Book Month, on this date 100 years ago. While we were on that break, Rich, you were sharing a story with us. Bring our listeners in on that.
Well, this is not in the book, but in my research. So a few years after Jewish Book Week at the time started to grow and set roots in, there was a rabbi whose name should not be named, Felix Mendelssohn, who decided to claim that he had started Jewish Book Week. And Fanny, as tough as she was, decided to allow it because, and so it caused some confusion, because for her, it was not about the glory, it was about the event. And she thought that if a famous rabbi had invented it, that it would spread quicker and more people would take it seriously. So she allowed him to claim credit, or rather, she did not refute him when he claimed credit. And what she discovered, of course, after a year or two, that he wanted the credit but didn't want to do any of the work. So it was all a paper.
And he probably wants to mansplain to her what it was all about.
Yes, exactly. And so she wrote an amazing, blistering letter, which was sent all over through the network of things, talking how she was not angry, but she felt great pity for a man of the religion who was so insecure, especially a rabbi, in his own manhood, that he would take credit for something that was not him. And I wish I had the letter in front of me. It is tough.
She was also the epitome of a social activist. As you told us, she founded book weeks for many religions and various ethnic groups. I mean, she was ecumenical. She was a true social justice warrior. Yep. She was telling us she visited prisons.
She visited prisons. She conducted Passover Seders for the prisoners behind bars. She certainly, when book burning started and the Nazi regime started coming, she was one of the foremost and earliest speakers against that. I mean, she was really an amazing individual. And especially at the time when, women's voices weren't heard.
And she has been, in the main, I think, lost to history, lost to the fog of history.
She was, and I'm hoping to bring her back. Her papers were, the Boston Public Library has some other institutions have some, but in general, she was not known. I didn't know her, frankly, until... I was asked to write the book. I had, the library, the Jewish Library Association, I should say, the Association of Jewish Libraries, does give an award yearly in her name to a Jewish librarian who makes a difference in the world. So I had heard the name, but that's all it was, and I found out.
I hadn't. I confess my ignorance. Rich Michelson. In Fanny's Big Idea, you tell the story of Fanny Goldstein and her big idea, and actually many big ideas, plural. I'm wondering if you'd be kind enough to take us through, say, the first 3 pages of the book, maybe
Sure.
Describe these absolutely gorgeous illustrations, and read for us the short
I'll hold
text.
up the book so the listeners at home can follow me.
It's one of the
along.
few times where I said, I would love to have a television
Fanny
camera.
loved the busyness of her new neighborhood in Boston's North End. Almost all her friends were immigrants, and everybody had their own traditions. But some days, Fanny missed her books, her dolls, and the fancy dresses she had to leave behind. She was born in Russia, where her parents were leaders of the Jewish community. My Bubba even met Emperor Tsar Nicholas II, Fanny told her new neighbors. She brought him books about Jewish customs. But the Tsar didn't want to read about people different than himself. He told the police to burn down our house if we went to synagogue instead of church.
So, in Fanny Goldstein's world in Boston when she founded Jewish Book Week 100 years ago today. Was there significant anti-Semitism that she was experiencing?
Oh, definite. Well, I have to say, Boston at the time was such an immigrant neighborhood that, it was mostly immigrants coming into her neighborhood. So it was accepted, but but the rule of thumb was the immigrants come in and forget where they came from. This was how it was set up to get them into the American mold. It wasn't the day of the cloth where we all put our customs together and create a greater whole. You were to subsume, you take your identity and lose it and become an American. And that is what she chafed about, and that is what she fought for. She wanted everybody to keep their own customs and
to share them. I would be interested to know, is there an institution, an entity that perpetuates Jewish Book Month and these other religious-oriented and ethnic book months?
So as far as Jewish Book Month, yes. So the Jewish Book Council, which started a few years after this, and Fanny was their first president. Now it is a huge organization that promotes books throughout the country for the month. In fact, they work with a lot of other organizations. I'm thrilled that an illustration from this book will be their 100th anniversary poster this year. And also PJ Library, who a lot of local people know, which gives away free books. If you sign up, we'll be using the poster as well. It's going to go to Jewish community centers throughout the country. I will be down. For people in New York City, you want a free copy? The Jewish Book Council this Sunday is creating a pop-up bookstore on the Lower East Side, and they will be giving away copies of this book. Plus, you get free hot chocolate, and I will be down there signing copies.
Well, author Rich Michelson, the elephant in the room. This 100th anniversary of Fanny's great idea, as you said, big idea, as the title of your book, it's coming at a time when views towards immigrants are very, very different than what your book describes and what Fanny experienced. Is it an accident that you're writing this book now when we see this amazing change, I think, to our detriment?
Yeah, I mean, it's an accident that it's coming out at a time where it's desperately needed. Fanny would be rolling over in her grave where she is hearing about the book banning. She wanted everybody to read everything. And she was proud of being Jewish at the same time, welcoming others. This is, and everything. Her fight for women's rights, or fight for immigrant rights. It's amazing 100 years later, when we thought we had passed this, that we are fighting the same fight that she fought. So, I very much
maybe we're.
feel
It sounds like institutionally, at least we were recognizing these minorities, and as you said, there is actually assimilation lessons being given. There was an incredible effort to make immigrants feel like they were Americans, and now we're doing everything we can to make them feel like they're not.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to go. I think I've talked about this on the show before. I do a lot of touring and a lot of speaking, and I have armed guards often during my readings now. It's a different world.
I was struck, I want to go back as we conclude our conversation here today, Rich Michelson, to a page in the book and something you mentioned early on in our conversation today, which is this statement by, you can tell us who, the more you know about someone's life, the harder it is not to like them. And I was struck by that when I saw this page, because it doesn't say the more you know about a person. It's the more you know about a person's life, because people can be objectionable. But when you know about their life, then they are understandable. And I think that is part of this book. At least it was for me. And I'm wondering if that was part of your objective.
Well, yes, and it's really the only line in the book that's repeated more than once. That's the theme. Fanny's grandmother said that to her when she was still in Russia and they were being forced out. And she brought that throughout her life. It was her mantra. I think we all need to remember that, and we'll go out with its repetition. The more you know about someone's life, the harder it is not to like them.
Fanny's Big Idea, written by Richard Michelson, illustrated by Alyssa Russell, is available at our Michelson Gallery and your local independent bookstore. And if you're
bookstores, online, at wherever you buy your books.
Fanny's Big Idea, How Jewish Book Week Was Born. Thank you so much, Rich Michelson, for being with us today, and thanks so much for your book.
Thank you.
This is Talk the Talk on WHMP.